Hey guys, so a question you might ask yourself if you're like me and you've been watching the Maid show that just happened a couple weeks ago up in Portland is it worth it going custom? Now obviously I have some experience in this because I have custom bikes, and you may think, well, you just got custom just because you wanted to be different, or because you can afford it. And it's not that. I went custom mainly because I've been around this industry for a while. I've known about 7 cycles since before the internet, when I was looking at catalogs, same as to Lightspeed, Merlin, Linsky, Moots. Those bikes were always, I thought, wow, those are interesting. And I remember going to one of the first bike shops when I started looking at bikes and saying, wow, that's titanium. And I thought, titanium, what a dream material for bikes. And I didn't even know the difference between a custom titanium or a titanium that was mass produced. So I got to learning about it, and when the time was right, I ended up getting my first custom bike. Now, it wasn't a 7. I got a custom titanium frame from Titus, and that's the frame that you see me riding over in the Philippines. And that was a 26-inch custom single speed that I built up, that I later converted to a commuter bike that fit 700 seat wheels in there. So when I thought about building up this custom bike, actually I had another custom single speed built from 7, and it was really nice. It was a rigid single speed, but that frame cracked. Nothing against 7. I rode that thing hard, and it cracked right between the head tube and the top tube there, and I don't know exactly why. I mean, it was a rigid bike, and I was bombing down single track year after year, and it didn't crack till I rode it for at least 6 years, and it was my daily driver. It was the only mountain bike I rode for 2 of those years. So, and I ride a lot, you guys. So let me show you a couple things with this, because if we're talking to custom bikes, why not look at my custom gravel bike? And part of the reason I went with a custom gravel bike and decided to replace that bike with this bike was I wanted a bike that didn't have tow over. I wanted internal routing so I could so it looked cleaner, so I could do a dropper post. And some of those things were really not that normal for steel or tie gravel bikes that you would buy mass manufactured. So I wanted some custom touches because I'm short too. So I'm short with a 43 shoe and or a size 10 shoe. So to fit big tires, I needed to make sure they weren't going to have tow over. That's a little harder to do with a smaller frame. And so I knew that I didn't want to go down to 650B. Although this frame I could put 650B tires. The bottom bracket is high enough that it's not going to drop it that low. But I wanted to go through details of having a T47, having certain bottom bracket height, having chain stays that were not so short but not too long, things like that. So I went over the details, and I knew about 7. I wanted that really crazy bend in the seat stays, and I thought about things like that, and I worked with 7 to not only do the custom, geo and the custom little tiny things to it, details to it, but 7 was also a little bit rigid. They would not put mounts for bento bag, and they were limiting the amount of mounts that I could have on it. And they had some, they had some feelings about that because their tubing is so thin-walled, they didn't want to weaken their tubing. And their tubing does feel amazing. I mean, 7 makes some of the best titanium frames in the world. and I will stand behind that. And they stood behind my cracked frame and gave me a warranty replacement with this. Now I had to pay extra, but they covered a lot of the cost. So now I'm thinking of going custom with another rigid single speed hardtail. And I want to throw that out there to you guys. The guys that looked at Made, or the guys that used to look at NAB's North American Handmade Bike Show years ago. What do you think I should go for as far as choosing a frame builder, a craftsman, if you will, to build up a frame? I've got some unique requests. I want to have 142 dropouts. I don't believe in switching all my wheel sets, single speed wheel sets that are single speed specific hubs, to the 148, because I'm not going to go with a geared 148 hub. So I already have single speed specific 142, and so I'm going to get a bike that has 142 sliding single speed, or maybe go with an eccentric bottom bracket again, but I'm going to go with single speed hubs. I'm going to go with a 142, and it's going to have a single speed, but then I also want to have the option of using geared later on. I had the Escar bikes can actually convert to both 142 and 148, which is kind of cool with their portage system. And it would be interesting if a bike company was consider doing something like that. I'm not sure. I like some unique things as far as I don't want to have it too slack. I really don't want to have too long of a reach. And I'm looking for something that's I'm going to be using as, my rigid single speed that I like to do more BMX type of riding on. Some of the more smoother single track that I like to ride, that a rigid bike, it just feels great on. So that's what I'm looking to do. I miss my old 7, and I'm looking to replace it. So what do you guys think? So put your opinions below in the comments and tell me if you were going to go with steel or titanium and choose a small manufacturer that would work with you, who would you choose? Or maybe you found somebody that did work with you, that didn't tell you, oh, you have to get this and you have to get that, but you can pick whatever color. I don't want a frame manufacturer just going to tell me to pick the color. I want to choose more details than that. So, and I don't want to have a bad vibe. I want to have a good vibe with somebody that I'm working with that isn't going to be, arguing with me about my decisions or about trying to talk me out of every choice that I make. So let me know in the comments. It's really hot out here. My voice is raspy, but I wanted to post that out there. Thanks, guys.